Welcome to Multifamily Grit, where we bring in the experts to share their stories of the celebrations and struggles of one of the most important industries in the U.S., multifamily property management. Kerri sat down with Tiffany Tillotson, currently a regional manager at Asset Living, where she leads with heart, hustle, and a fierce commitment to community transformation. At the time of our interview, she was Director of Special Projects and Collaborations at New Hope Housing. This intro comes from our conversation with her while still at New Hope. With over a decade of experience across the multifamily and nonprofit sectors, Tiffany specializes in cross-sector partnerships and strategic programs that drive real, measurable impact for vulnerable populations. Tiffany wears many hats at New Hope. From building out youth initiatives like the Empower Me program to orchestrating events that bring joy and dignity to low-income communities. Whether it's designing a back-to-school hair studio for kids or organizing Jazz Under the Stars evenings that turn residents into neighbors, Tiffany's work goes beyond housing. It's about empowerment, connection, and stability. Today, we dive into how Tiffany is shaping spaces that nurture confidence and opportunity, why slow-moving systems haven't stopped her from pushing forward, and what drives her relentless energy, even while balancing law school, motherhood, and a part-time job as a home health aide. We'll also unpack how her lived experience fuels her vision, why she believes legal advocacy is the next frontier in housing support, and what it takes to keep believing when the work gets hard. This is a conversation about creativity, courage, and staying committed to the people at the heart of housing. Before we get started, this episode is sponsored by Fortress, the only core property management operating system built with an emphasis for affordable owners and operators. Fortress revolutionizes affordable management with features focused on automating housing assistance charges and payments to keep ledgers clean and accurate, centralizing file reviews and document storage through Fortress and AWS, and a free in-system smart waitlist to ensure your property stays in compliance. And don't forget, if you like what you hear today, please like, subscribe, and share with someone you think would enjoy this episode. Now let's get into it. Here's Kerri Davis sitting down with Tiffany Tillotson for a conversation recorded while she was still at New Hope Housing, packed with real talk, practical insights, and stories you won't want to miss. Tiffany, thank you so much again for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me. It is such an honor. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Oh, thank you. So before we dig in, because I have lots of questions, but before we dig in, I think it'd be really helpful if you gave our listeners a little bit of the story about your background. How did you get your start in the industry?
Yeah, like most property managers do, kind of fell into it. I went to Florida A&M in Tallahassee, Florida. So as an undergraduate student studying in a school of business, I had a part-time job among other part-time jobs at a student housing complex. And so I was a office assistant, leasing assistant, and before I graduated, I was a community manager.
Okay.
So at the time of graduation, the goal was to go to law school. So geared up, taking my LSATs, ready to go. But I got a promotion in that field and already making the money, really loved what I was doing. So I just stuck with that.
Yeah.
Law school took a backseat, basically.
Yeah.
So after that, I stayed in the student housing industry for a while, moved over to conventional multifamily housing, did a few senior living projects from Tallahassee, Orlando, Miami, even got my real estate license and started selling timeshare in Orlando. So yeah, it took me to many, many places. It even brought me here to Houston. It's how I got my first job when I moved here to Houston. And then while here in Houston, I got into the nonprofit world here at New Hope Housing. So now I serve a different type of client, but still the same base and the same foundation of what we are trying to provide to everybody. And that's just housing, comfortable place to stay.
Yeah, I love that. I've spoken to a lot of people who are in the nonprofit side of multifamily housing, and usually they come to it through nonprofit, not through multifamily housing. So it's really interesting that you've um, gone
that your segue into the nonprofit world and the programming world of nonprofits actually came through coming up through multifamily. So you really understand that side of things, and you understand, what it's like to be both a resident and managing those communities. And so tell me a little bit about how that impacts your how you work with the communities that you work with, and what you're trying to do with the programs, just the knowledge that you have about their experience and how hard things are on site already.
Yeah, it is a different perspective that most people don't really have when
Yeah.
we're in the meeting conversations. They're all normally operations based, right? And so not really
Hmm.
thinking about what the receiver on the other side is getting. So I get to bring it, I'd be the devil's advocate and say, well, what about this? Or they might think this. So it's helped in our decision making, so much so for our programs. Now we're focusing on giving the residents what they need and ask for, as opposed to what we feel they need from the top. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
we don't know exactly all the time. So we are now asking those questions so that we can be more intentional with the programs we put in place. So we get the attendance, we get the results, the impact that we aspire to have and say that we have when we write about it in our funding is actually there.
I love that. How are you asking the residents?
A number of ways.
Yeah.
They started out, and most think survey, 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 but they get surveyed out. Um,
Yeah.
Kind of, because it's always a program, something happening every month, and at the end of every month, we want to ask
Oh,
a survey. So it gets to be a little tedious, and they start just answering just to answer. So we do a little generic thing. Sometimes they'll leave comments randomly, or we'll not plant someone there, but people like me and community service specialists is what we have on site to just have regular conversations. We'll do a coffee and conversation event. We'll talk about some of the things that are happening on site, how they feel about it. They can be as candid as they want. They can also send us emails and little mailed notes. We provide paper and postage stamps, things like that, if they want to provide some feedback about what we're doing on site. And it's just about making sure they're comfortable. So we do the surveys, but we also try to get the generic, just talk to me, tell me how you're feeling, what you
yeah.
need.
Yeah, I love that. So tell me more about your specific role. So I mentioned your title in your introduction, special projects and collaborations. So let's take a step back for a second. What does that mean exactly? I mean,
Uh,
it sounds very broad.
it is, it is, and I think it was done that way for a reason.
Yeah.
Special projects. It's like the catch-all.
Okay.
It is a newly created position. I've been in this position for 2.5 years now, but so it didn't exist before me. And I think it was created because there are so many little things that happen or that we come across that can fall into that special projects category. So right
Yeah.
now I can do if anything from a pantry project, which is what is currently on happening, putting in building out and stocking pantries at all of our single room occupancy apartment buildings so
Oh,
that
wow.
they don't have, if they have to go to a resource outside of our property because we don't have anything or we've run out, they can start with us first. So the goal is we can provide and have the resources to give you all the things that you need on
Yeah.
site. So a project like that, like you mentioned earlier in the introduction, the hair salon at one of the
Yeah.
properties, building that out, all the way to just simply a project in helping the operations department run more efficiently. So online leasing wasn't a thing at the time, so initiating those types of projects. So any and
Oh, okay.
everything across all the departments, fund development. I've worked with them on some projects to do funding and tours and things like that. So I am probably the only person that goes through each department and has some type of project or work group that brings us all together.
Yeah. That sounds fun and also slightly terrifying. So, that sort of cross collaboration, I'm sure, must involve a lot of prioritization on your side. So, how do you prioritize where to where to actually put your focus, and which groups and which projects need you the most?
Yeah, well, everybody thinks their project is the most important part.
Yeah.
I actually was a project coordinator for a while, with a company called Move Plan, and I was helping HP relocate their 3,000 employees and work groups from one of their campuses, their old campus here in Houston, to a beautiful campus out in the Woodlands area. And so just constant updating of the to-do list is a major thing, like constantly checking what needs to happen, who needs to be informed. I feel I'm a great communicator, so I think, and I love multitasking. So for someone else, it might be a little stressful, but I like the things change. I think that's one of the reasons why I fell into this industry in the first place, because property management every day is different from the last. And so in this role, it kind of gives me that too without actually having to oversee the properties.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I love that. So, to-do list, communication, and multitasking. I think you're speaking my love languages. So I think that's great. I do want to comment for just a second. You said you love multitasking and you're okay with things changing. You must, because your job is obviously all encompassing. You have so many different projects that are going on. There's so much cross collaboration between all the different functions, and you have a lot going on personally.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that you have a part-time job. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that with me?
Sure. And you know what's so funny is I just did we have a program where the residents are students and single parents. And I was asked to speak about managing time, being that I have all these things going on. Like, what do you do, Tiffany? So it's funny. I have a part-time job as a home health aide. And so after work and before school or during school, I'll go and assist the elderly in whatever capacity they need. So it could be someone that needs active help, just cooking, cleaning, or going grocery shopping for them, things around the house that they can't do because they broken a leg or something of that nature, or the family just needs time to rest and they can't be there all day or live somewhere else. And so they hire companies that employ people like me to come in and help them when they can't do it for their family members. And so I do that. Most of the times it's at night. So night shifts, the shift I have now is like from 5:30 to 9, but it can normally I choose things from like 6 or 7 p.m. to overnight, so 6 or 7 in the morning, and then come right back to work the next day. So that it doesn't interfere with this job, my main source of income, but still need that additional because I am a single mother as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so single mother too. So not
Mhm.
only do you have two jobs, tell me about your kids.
I have two kids.
Okay.
I have I have a son that just turned 9 in May, and a daughter who turns 4 on Monday, the 30th.
Oh, amazing.
They are night and day.
Yeah.
My daughter's like the helper. She will, if I'm cleaning up, she'll grab the broom or grab the dustpan and help me.
Oh,
Changing laundry. She's like, I'll press the button or I'll pour it in. Like I'm gonna help you wash dishes. She's the helper. And my son, he helps too, but he's more like, what are we gonna do? When are you spending time with us? I want to go to the park. I want to go, he's more the
yeah.
I need the actual activity time to do. But both are awesome. My daughter's gonna go to kindergarten in August, so at least she'll be out of the house and get some type of friends and independence and not be up under me. But they are a handful. My
Yeah.
son is in football and baseball and yes.
So what are your time management strategies? If you gave a talk on this, now I want to hear it. What were your recommendations? Because clearly you're
Um,
juggling it all.
Yeah, I mean, some of the major ones is just keeping time. So I keep a physical planner, and then I use my calendar on my computer a lot. So I'm always updating what I have and what I have every moment. So law school taught me this, the planning out each time to be intentional of when you're going to do those things so that you don't put it to the back burner or forget about it. And so I'm constantly looking at my calendar. The first thing I do when I come to work is open it. What am I doing, adding to it or moving something that I pushed around to make sure it has a space at another day or another time that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I also just maximize all the hours. Like when you say it's 24 hours in a day, all of the hours, okay? All of the hours are utilized for something, whether it's studying, going to work, the first job or the second, or just entertaining my kids. Something is being done in those hours. And don't ask me when I sleep because yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no, that is the next question that everyone who's listening to this right now is gonna want to hear. Do you sleep?
Listen, I probably am in my while I'm on my way to work, you hit autopilot, like that is when my mind is asleep because I don't really have to think about anything. But sometimes on my drives into work or out of work, I'll listen to my lectures for class
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
that I can kind of knock some of that work out before actually getting to the next location.
Yeah, that's that multitasking, which I think
Yeah.
I agree with you is so efficient. It's the only way I've been able to find time to actually read books is, like I listen to them in the mornings while I'm getting ready, like doing the things that you can be on autopilot for that you don't have to
Right.
think about, so that you can actually listen and pay attention to something else. So I'm right there with you. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
So, well, I derailed a little bit to talk about personal stuff, but I just felt like when you were talking about your to-do lists and communication and multitasking and like giving the time management, I just had to dig into that because I think it's so impressive what you're doing, committing so much of your time to service. Serving at the nonprofit that you're in, serving in your second job, serving obviously taking care of your kids, and you've mentioned this a few times now, so I'm going to ask you this too while we're on this topic. You're going to law school right now, so as you mentioned, it was something that you really wanted to do straight out of undergrad, but instead decided to stay in multifamily because you loved what you were doing. So tell me, what are your thoughts about law school? Like, what are you wanting to do with that? What are your hopes after you graduate?
Well, originally I wanted to go into corporate law, international law. Um, my thought process of what I wanted to do at the beginning. But the working here at the nonprofit for New Hope has kind of changed what I want to do, what
Yeah.
I think I want to do. And my professors even said, you'll come into school thinking you want to do one thing, but then end up doing something completely different. And
Yeah.
that just happened last semester. I was taking a class, my legal writing class, and we had to do a debate, a mock trial, right? And during the mock trial, one of the judges after was like, "Have you ever thought about being an appellate attorney? Like the way you argue, the way you." And I was like, "Nope, never thought about that. Would have never wanted to be that at all. Don't want to see a courtroom. I just want to do all the paperwork and." So just even that little thought, that little thing that he, stuck into my mind. But working here, I really want to do something that helps the residents understand, or people in general, understand the legalities behind signing a lease, signing any type of contract. I mean, like a lease and what it means when you receive a notice to vacate or um, an eviction notice and what you can say when you go to court, what can happen after that, the resources you have available, the questions you can ask, and not so that us on the property management side can have more work to do or, make them lose money or anything like that. I just feel that when we do things the right way, which is all we say we're doing, right? If we're doing it the right way, there is no reason why the resident can't have all the information so that they're better informed and
Yeah.
know what they're getting themselves into because here at New Hope, our goal is to end homelessness. We aren't trying to put people back on the streets, right? So what resources can they have since we're technically like the last resort almost? What can
Yeah.
we give them and say to them so that they can have a chance to stay housed and truly end homelessness? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is ultimately what I want to do now and what my changed goal for law school is.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so, um, it just really gets to the bottom of like what you're doing and what affordable housing is doing, at New Hope and at other affordable housing companies, like really trying to serve those communities, right? And a huge part of serving those communities is giving them the broader picture, the broader tools, right? And you're already doing a lot of that today in the programs that you're providing. So I'd love to dig into a few of those programs. So first, let's talk a little bit more about this hair salon on site. So tell me about this project. Whose idea was it? What exactly is it doing? What's your hope for it?
Okay, so update, we're calling it a studio because it is
Ooh,
for
studio.
boys and girls.
Love
And
it.
I came up with the idea, we had a partner at our property who was moving out of one of our office spaces. It was during the time when they were trying to reduce funds and things like that or reduce expenses. So they moved to a smaller office somewhere else in the property. So it left this big open room on the second floor. We have a on-site clinic for our residents there already. And so to bring more attention to what's there and our resources, I said this room would be good for a hair salon or barber studio, you know what I mean? For our kids that we want them to feel good about the way they look and things like that. And because getting your hair cut and your hair done is costly, I
Yeah.
said this would be a good program that would help benefit not only the children, but the mothers and fathers that take care of them financially. So right now we're on full speed ahead. We're trying to get it completed before our back to school bash on July 19th. And
Love
so
it.
I came up with the design. I don't know if you've ever been to Houston, but we have a underpass where artists put the words "be someone" over on top of the viaduct, so you can go under and you see that as you go into the city. It's beautiful. So the cityscape is on the background, and you see "be someone" as you're driving into it. So that is going to be our main focal part of the room with the mural. And I suggested the name of the studio be Someone Studios, and just have artwork, inspirational artwork of
Yeah.
throwing up their cap in the air to represent graduation. So encourage them to get some type of education, travel, so that they can actually think that they can leave Houston and not have to be stuck here. Not to say that they're stuck, but like the world is vast, so
Yeah.
opportunities in all places that they can strive for.
Yeah.
And then I also picked a piece of artwork that was of a little girl dreaming of being an astronaut. So just basically to encourage them to continue to dream and stuff like that. So the hair studio will be more than just where you get your hair cut. Like for adults, we go and we talk to our stylists. We start telling them all the things that's happening. We, catch up sometimes if we're going to someone regularly. And so I'm hoping that the children will have that type of relationship with the stylists that are going to help us make this into the dream that I have, make this vision come true. I hope that the children will be able to talk to them and feel comfortable talking to them, and just, feel good about themselves at the end of the day. And it's going well. I just ordered all the furniture for it, and
Oh, so exciting.
I can't wait to see it come, like all the pieces in place.
Oh, that's so incredible. I cannot imagine a better way for you to really get close to kids of that age and help them dream and create these visions of what they want to do in life than to provide a place for them to get their hair done. Because let me be clear, I have a 14-year-old son and he's obsessed with his hair. It's outrageous. But I think most 14-year-olds are these days. I
Yes.
mean, they're all getting their hair like either they're growing it out long and like getting it permed and poofy, or they're like buzzing it and dyeing it blonde. And it's like hair is a thing right
Yeah,
now.
and
So
they get
it's,
to experience themselves. They get to be
yeah,
creative in all things, and that
so
would be the
true.
starting point. Yeah.
So true. How many um I guess hair artists or barbers do you have committed to this project? Because a huge part of this is about them, right, donating their time
Exactly.
to do this. Yeah.
So right now I have one stylist who
Okay.
is committed, and she committed last year when I first thought about the idea. But like most companies, they kind of put your ideas to the back burner until
Yeah.
until something big needs to happen. But
Yeah.
her commitment last year, and the only thing that she wanted was for me to purchase a specific shampoo and conditioner. And I'm like, easy,
Yeah.
So find her, like, okay, come on over. So I have her, and then right now I'm looking around at local barber schools for someone to cut the little boy's hair. So I haven't found
Yeah.
anyone yet, but I'm on the search for many people, and hopefully we can have people rotate so we can be
Yeah.
multiple days. It's not limited, and we don't have to like reduce the amount of people we can serve just because of the assistance we have. So
Yeah.
traction gets out there, and we get a bucket list of people.
Yeah, I love that. I think it'd be so beautiful. I can't imagine that you wouldn't be able to get, a group of 20 or 30 to come in once a month, even just to volunteer their time, and how incredible and valuable that would be to the residents of that community. I love programs like that, especially ones that are easily replicated in other areas. So if you can find a way to do it at more communities, I love it. So it's a phenomenal project, but um, but I'm not going to ask a specific question about the next one. Tell me, what's your next favorite program that you have worked on or are working on?
I have so many. All of them are good because they help someone at some point. I mean, like I have well, I want to talk about Empower Me, but I want to talk about Jazz Under the Stars.
I'll let you
Uh,
do both. No worries. Just pick whichever one you want to start with first.
Jazz Under the Stars, I have a love of music,
Okay.
all sorts of music, and my family does too. We come together with music, often just sending each other songs throughout the day, you know. But the residents at our single room occupancy units are, like I said, formerly homeless or have come through some type of thing where they no longer go to the events that we take for granted, concert
Wow.
or comedy show or something like that.
Yeah.
So Jazz Under the Stars was us partnering with local artists, Madison Arts, and his name is Robbie Madison, but he is phenomenal. He is an artist himself, and so he got other musicians in the area to come and perform jazz songs for us in the courtyard at one of our properties, while an artist painted during the show. So the residents got to sit and listen to music that they remember growing up to, that they just, that nostalgia moment. And when I tell you, the residents were so happy. We had one resident before the night was over, found a piece of paper, where she got it from, I don't know, and like a crayon or marker or something, and wrote, "Thank you so much. This was amazing." And we took that letter, took pictures, framed it, because it was just like a true representation of how she felt about the event and what it did for her. And all the other residents agreed as well, so much so that they helped us tear down the event. All the chairs and stuff that we put out earlier that morning, it was like a train of people just taking to the room and packing up the excess food. Like, they didn't just leave and go to their apartments. They helped us break down the event completely. And now it'll go at least twice a year, and we'll rotate the types of music we provide and invite other properties to come. It was a success. I enjoyed it a lot.
That's such a beautiful story. And the community at the end that, people didn't want to go home. They wanted to stay and help and show their gratitude and just feel like they were part of something bigger.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And twice a year from now on, that's absolutely incredible.
I hope it stays that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the truth about a lot of the programming, a lot of nonprofit programming. It's tough to keep it up. It is.
It's also tough when those programs happened. We didn't have a VP of programs yet. Uh,
Hmm.
and so when you have one person that, like myself, who has this type of thought process or direction, this is what I think, should happen. Um, you flow with that, right? But when the tide changes and someone else comes in, their ideas and things now shifts the programming portion of it. And so that's what's happening now. So I don't, and that's why I said I hope it happens every twice a year, because I'm not sure if it will, if I'm not the one behind it, or if the person that's put in place doesn't feel as passionate about it as I do. So it
Yeah.
might fall by the wayside, but I hope it doesn't.
Yeah. So you've mentioned this VP role, the new person who's come in. So did that person, I guess, how recently did that person join your team?
March of this
Okay.
year.
How's it going?
It's going. I
Yeah.
mean, like any new position, they gotta come in, get their feet wet, and understand what's happening, around them and how they can make an impact. And so
Yeah.
you have to understand where you are to know where you can go.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's what's happening, because I haven't asked, but things have definitely changed. My involvement in the programs part has taken a backseat. So I'm like more project and not program project at this time.
Okay. What does that mean? Project versus program project.
So I legit just do the base project. So for the hair salon, um, I will build it out, ensure that it's functioning and has everything it needs. But as far as programming, I will let him decide how often it should be open, how many people you want to,
Mm.
what's the goal of it, what impact do you want to see. I'm opinionated, so of course provide my opinion on be or my thought process, since it was mine to begin with. But at the end of the day, it's his decision and in his department to see succeed.
Yeah. I know it can be difficult um to have someone new come in, a new leader, right? I think, at any company I've ever been a part of the leadership at, I've always tried so hard to promote from within instead of bringing in external team members, because it is very, very difficult to bring in a new leader and to have to not have fallout beneath that, right? Just because you have the culture at a company is defined by the people at a company. And anytime the people start to change and there are new people coming in, especially at leadership levels, the culture is going to shift a little bit, you know? And I'm not saying that's bad. It's just going to shift. And so it can be really difficult. How have you been handling the change?
It's always a tough pill to swallow, especially
Yeah.
when you've poured your heart into the mission and know the impact you're capable of making.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the individual that was chosen brings a political background. So while I see how the organization may have felt that could certainly open some doors strategically,
Hmm.
it was a moment where I had to pause and reflect.
Yeah.
Like, um, I've worked with a lot of organizations, and I've come to understand that they make decisions based on perceived opportunity and long-term positioning. So while I may not agree with their choice, especially since I was wanting that position, I respect the leadership sees things from a broader lens. That said, it's a reminder that alignment is key. So between mission and lived experience and leadership, it's critical. Uh, Titles aside, I remain committed to the work that I'm doing, the communities I serve, and showing up in a way that continues to create impact.
Yeah. Oh,
Roles shift, but my purpose doesn't.
yeah. If that's not the definition of awareness and mindfulness, I don't know what is. It's seriously, it's a very mature way to look at that. That's a difficult situation, you know, especially to be able to come here and still be at the company and say, you know, like I did apply for that job, I didn't get it. There's someone else who did, and you know, that may not have been what I wanted out of the situation, but I can look at it from a broader lens, as you said, and see that there may have been things at play that I didn't know or didn't understand. And that all I can do is, you know, rely on the fact that I believe in the company that I'm at and that, you know, I'm here to do the best job that I can do for the people that are here. I think, like I said, if that's not mindfulness and the ability to take a step back and look at it objectively rather than through your own lens,
Yeah.
that's really incredible.
Mm, yeah. I try. I'm trying. It's every day, because it's. I mean, did I mention I was a single parent? Did I mention jobs? Like they're. You definitely. I have to take look at it positively, and realize that what's meant for me will be, right? So it doesn't mean that I'm not capable of being that VP of programs. It means I wasn't meant to do that here. And so
Yeah.
whatever role and opportunity I'm supposed to provide, I am doing that while I can.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I skipped it. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, so I'm gonna go back to it. The Empower Me
Mhm.
campaign. So tell me a little bit about that program.
Another program that I initiated and worked with Fund Development, or their philanthropy team now, is what they're called. They received funding from a good partner of ours to um, provide activities or do something for the youth. And so I came up with the name Empower Me because I'm all about encouraging and strengthening our youth to break the stereotypes and to
Mm,
come out of the situations that they are projected to be in just based
yeah.
on what got them to us. And so this program was supposed to be us helping, or basically the youth telling us what they want to do, whether it's music lessons, extracurricular activity to join a football team, baseball team. They want lessons or have tutoring lessons in preparing for their exams or just getting better grades. So whatever it may be, they could have wanted to learn how to swim, going to the YMCA. It could be big or small. It's them telling us what it is they want to do to kind of keep them active, not lingering around the house or the apartment complex, getting into trouble, making bad decisions. So let me help you. Just tell me what it is you need, and we'll make sure we get it for you, put you on the right path to get it. And so I was hoping that in this program, this Empower Me program, they would feel encouraged that even though my mom or dad doesn't have the money, I can still come to someone, my community, New Hope Housing, and get the resources I need to get what I want and not feel like I have to hear the word no. I don't know what it is about hearing the word no. Sometimes you hear it enough and you stop asking, and we don't want
Yeah.
them to stop asking. So that's what the program was supposed to be and how it's supposed to function for our youth at the properties.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. So what's going on with that program right now?
I just got an update because it was under the new VP, right? And it has shifted a little bit as far as what the goal mission is. It is now more of a resource to all, so it can include those things, but it can also include if the mom needs, say, car seat or crib or something like that. Which I feel that our resident services department should already be providing anyway, or like it didn't need to be under that umbrella was my thought process or is my thought process. But this program just is broader more now.
Hmm.
It's not narrow. It's not just youth items. It is encompassing all, which is like of course not a bad thing. It's just, of course wasn't my vision. But
Yeah.
that's what it's doing now. And from what I understand, they've had some applications submitted and are working through getting people approved. They had a few ask for uniforms for football and
Mm.
things of that nature. So yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. Well, it sounds like a phenomenal program. And, who knows? Like I said, programs evolve and change quite a bit. I mean, our nonprofit, that I chair that we started, whew, um, unofficially 11 years ago. And I think it officially became a nonprofit 7 or 8 years ago. Began with just what we called a toy fest. It was just an annual celebration that we had where we brought bags of toys into kids in um, a inner city community inner city public housing community that we didn't run. It was, run by Metro Nashville, and we threw them like this massive party, and every kid walked out with a bag of toys. Some of the bags of toys were bigger than some of the kids that hauled them out. It was beautiful. It was so fun to watch them trip over these bags with these massive smiles on their face. So it went from that one event to now today we provide free after school childcare for about 120 children in Title I schools. And then now we are starting to take a slightly different direction and are in the process of even acquiring some um, senior living facilities that have been shut down. And we're in the process of trying to figure out a way to maybe like convert some of those into studios for children who are aging out of foster care and putting them and creating programming for them and stuff like that. So, like I said, programs evolve over time. And the beauty of it is like, as long as you have the right intention and you're giving, you never know where it's going to end up. And so I love so much all three of the programs that you've described here. Honestly, if I had to say my favorite is absolutely the hair studio, not salon, the hair studio. Because I couldn't agree more at that age of children's lives, from what, like 8 to 17 or 18, they're like figuring out who they are, and their appearance is so important. And hair can be very expensive. And so I think it's a beautiful program. I really love it.
That's my favorite too. That domino effect of what it means.
Yeah.
Just care for one little thing and watch how that
Yep.
child starts caring for everything after
Yes.
not train them, but get them to focus on that. They start focusing on
Yeah.
everything else. Their whole demeanor changes, the way they look at life. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
that it's my favorite program too.
I love it. Well, before we wrap up, I have a question
Mhm.
because you have done so many things. Every time you talk about something, you're like, well, I've also done this, and then I did this, and then I did this. And you have such big dreams, and you've seen so much, and you're so passionate about multifamily and giving back to our underserved communities. If you could do anything next year, right? Let's say you were given a budget, an unlimited budget, and the opportunity to do anything next year, what would you do?
I have the perfect answer to that because I've thought about this. I ultimately would want to. So, okay, our company right now provides housing in the areas that the individuals frequent, that they live and the resources are, right? So it's normally cities but they're close to the things that put them on the streets. And so if I had unlimited funds, I would put them far away from, like, in essence, going into those suburban areas or even the countryside, places that they are unfamiliar to them, but would have communities set up around them. I would put resources out there for them. The same things that are here would be located out there. But they would get to be away from the vices that
Oh,
made them this way, or you know what I mean, like that put them into the situation, but also give them a chance to see something bigger. Like, yeah,
yeah.
have you ever dreamed about being in a very, very nice house when you're little? Like, you don't dream about being in a one-bedroom studio or a one-bedroom apartment. You dream about the big things. And so I believe that kids and adults, when you put them around better, they want to become better.
Yeah.
When you dress for success, or you wake up, you feel good, you look good, you do good type of thing,
Yeah.
and that mentality. So I would, in essence, do that somewhere else. Like,
Yeah.
pick this up and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where it's just showing them the opportunities and giving them the vision, to want to travel, to want to have a nice house, to not just stay in the situation they are in just because it's here and resources are available. No,
Yeah.
I live next to this, what, $7 million house. I want to own that. So what do I have to do? You know what I mean? What do I
Yeah.
have to do? So now I'm going to the gym with my neighbor, and he's giving me insight on what I can do to be here, and
Yeah.
I'm going to push myself to be there. And it's that type of mentality, being around those type of minds, that will help. So that's what my money would do.
I love that actually. The way that you see the opportunity, if people can just feel it and see it, right? If you can feel a certain way about yourself and if you can see the opportunities that really exist, it makes it so much easier to create that success for
Right.
yourself. I love
Right.
it. I love it. It's beautiful. Okay, well, Tiffany, this has been an amazing conversation. I hate to have to wrap it up, but I know you and I both have other things that we have to do today. So I will end with the two questions that I ask everyone. So I'll start with the first one. Would you share a story from your time in multifamily with us?
Of course. I'll share a positive one. Um, I was able to help a single mother, who was on the brink of losing her children, due to not having, like, she's under eviction, and we didn't want to evict her, but it came to that point. So I helped her find resources locally to cover her rent balance and keep herself and her three children housed, on top of finding resources for her children to have after school care so she can find a job and not worry about having to pick them up. That's one of my biggest stories, getting to and from work, having to drop them off. People without children don't understand that. You tell me to be at work at 8 o'clock, school drops off at 7:45. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I was able to connect her with the right people so that she could keep her housing, find a job, and a follow up to that situation. After 2 years of that situation, she moved out of that apartment complex. She bought a house,
Oh my
and her kids
gosh.
yes, and her kids are thriving. All she needed was a little bit of help. I keep that story because everybody is you never know that a person is one paycheck away from something, or what struggles they have going on when they're not telling you about it. And so her situation, just reminded me that sometimes you just have to ask what's going on and see where you can help outside of being a property manager. um, so giving her that community allowed her to succeed, and I love it.
That's a beautiful story. How did you come up with the resources? How did you know how to give her those resources to help her?
So one of the things I do or did as a property manager, and I encouraged, my community managers after I became a district manager, was for the community managers to always know what local resources we have in the area or what new resources we have. So on site, I always kept who's giving out food, who is doing rental assistance, where the closest childcare centers are, and what type of payments plans they accept, as well as not friends, but people I've connected with that are in higher places that know people that know people, like so
Yeah.
basically creating a network of people that I can always call on and say, hey, do you have anybody looking for a receptionist? Or you know what I mean? So things like that. I try to make sure I keep a list of those types of resources and that the community managers under me have that. So they can say that by the time we've gone to eviction or the time we are at that point, you've given everything you can. You've looked at all these resources and continue to add to it so that we are not just disrupting someone's life, because that's what we're doing
Yeah.
if it gets to that point. But yeah, it's what I live by and what I try to tell my community managers to live by.
Such a great story. Thank you for sharing. And my last question, do you have a book that you would recommend to our listeners?
I have so many. I even asked my sister. I was like, I don't even know what to recommend because so many they recommend the same. The five dysfunctions of
Oh,
was my favorite.
so good.
And it still is my favorite, but I came across this one. It's called and don't mind the torn edges. It's called Competing in the Age of AI.
Okay.
Uh, what really stood out to me was how relevant this book is, not just for tech companies, but for any leader in any industry. It helps you understand AI isn't a tool for um, so that you can just stick on. Like it's something that's fundamentally changing in the world and how you structure your team, make decisions, or deliver services, basically catering this AI technology to the multifamily industry is instrumental. And we need to wake up because in my company, we didn't, like I said, have online leasing until I came in. I was like, what are y'all doing? So it's just about getting up to speed and learning how to use it as a tool and not think of it as um, just robots and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's such a great recommendation, and we haven't had it before. I haven't read it yet, actually, so I'll add that to my list. But I also do agree with you. The Five Dysfunctions of a Team is one of the best books that Patrick Lencioni. Is that
Yep, yep,
okay? Did I say
that's
that
it.
correctly? Okay. He tells stories so well because they're like parables, right? It's such an easy read, but it's also hits home, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm a
Yeah.
I'm a movie person, so I like stories. I like to read about stories, and so the fact that it was a lesson in a story just made it that much better. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Tiffany, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to make a book recommendation back to you because I think you would really enjoy this book. So it's called The Comfort Crisis. And it also is a really phenomenal story throughout the book. It's a nonfiction story. The writer is actually takes an Alaskan backcountry month-long trip where he's just literally living in the Alaskan wilderness for a month with nothing but his backpack, and it's a crazy harrowing story. It's phenomenal. But as he's telling this story, he is also in each chapter discussing a part of the story of him taking this trip, but then also discussing the research that he's done on humanity and how we live today in this like world of 70-degree comfort constantly, and how that's impacted our psyche and our bodies and those sorts of things versus, the fact that 99.6% of human existence, we've lived in very uncomfortable situations, and how like our minds and psychology and bodies can't keep up with the fact that we're now so comfortable. And so anyway, it's a really interesting read. I feel like it's something that you would like.
I will definitely check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you said you read a lot, and that is probably one of my favorite books of all time. But yet, very few people have heard of it. So I like to share it when given the opportunities. And thank you for sharing yours. I'm going to grab that AI book for sure.
Awesome.
Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation because I have, and I have a feeling our listeners are going to enjoy listening to it as well.
I have enjoyed the conversation. This was amazing. I'm so glad that you allowed me to come on and talk and share a little bit about myself and what I've gone through. I appreciate it
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
same. I appreciate you sharing.
Thank you.